We are live. I think it has
Okay.
gone.
We are
Oh,
live.
nope. Now we're live. And I like to begin with boring. We're going to call the first segment Boring Shit from Carla. So, in this week's Boring Shit from Carla, two things. First of all, what I said to you is making me nuts that I moved my Alexa off screen because it was behind me and people complained. So now there's the trash can and the Alexa's on there. But also, like I keep saying to you, I don't have my AirPods in. Are yours, those are the pros or not?
Think they're the pros.
Are they noise canceling?
Yes.
I can't get them to stay in. I seriously, we're going to need to do a tutorial because they'll be in. And then I go to the gym and I'm like, look at me. And then boop, they fall out.
You have a runner.
I know I can't even it. Do you have
That's
any?
wild.
Yeah.
These are the whatever the new generation. I had the ones before, and the only thing about those is they die at some point. Like they just
Quickly.
start doing fuzz, and you're like, you got to get new ones.
Yeah.
So these are all. The last ones were noise canceling, but I think these cancel even more because I'll if I put both of them in, sometimes I like take them out and then I'm overwhelmed. Like there's all sorts of the air conditioners
Oh,
on, the dryers
yes.
running. Like, so yeah, anyway, I
I don't love
digress.
mine. So if you can't hear me, tell me.
I can hear you
And you can see
perfectly.
me. I'm not fuzzy.
Yes,
Okay.
you're
What are
not
we?
blurry.
No, I'm scarred by that. But I've got the same configuration with the pop socket, the phone, and the lap. It's
Hot
going to
pocket.
be forever 1980s. Okay, are you ready? This was your throw it out to me, which I kind of love. We are going with because these are things that, I mean, when I work with women, when I talk to friends, for myself, we throw around these three ideas and they're intermingled. And when you brought it up, I don't know if you texted me at 1 a.m. I didn't get it at 1 a.m. Did you delay send?
I delayed send. I forget that that's an option, and so
I
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna send her a message in her prime operating hours
I was like, he's
from
awake at
mine.
4. I know.
It's
So
like I
you,
don't know why I don't use that technology more because I
oh, I
can
use
be
it all
on
the time.
other people's schedule.
That's what I do. I mean, at 4 a.m., sometimes I forget and I send it, and then I think I'm sneaky. So I panic and I undo send. And then I send it again. It's okay. But that actually does tie into dating later.
And then is it not a whole thing when you see message unsent? You're like, well, what did they unsend me?
Okay,
What was it?
before we
Do
get
you
into
stand
this,
behind what you were gonna say?
do you know? Because I didn't know this until I did, and this does tie into dating later. So you cannot give us feedback that we're rambling too much because this is an important tip. Write it down. Although I'm giving it away if anybody I'm currently seeing gets this. When you get a text and you're not on your phone, and then you go back to your phone and it says edited, did you know you can tap it and it will show you what it used to say?
No.
I mean, that should be the mic drop dating later entire thing. You
Hey,
can.
it's been good being with you this
I
week.
know. That is really okay. So I give you that as like a super top secret special aside. I
That
know.
is so. Did you just know this? You got a
I can't
download from the
remember when I
universe, and you're like,
learned it. I screwed up once and sent something in haste. This is not my best moment to my dad. And I was like, Carla, don't be so snippy. So I edited it. We've gotten way off track, but I edited it and I sent a nicer revision. And then I called my sister and said, I'm so glad dad doesn't know that you tap edit and you can see. And she's like, I didn't know that. So that's when I realized that not everybody knew. Like somebody might text you and say, I enjoyed coffee, but I don't think we're a fit right now. And then you tap it and it says, I enjoyed coffee, but you were very messy. Next time, don't show up as yourself. Like you can see what they said initially. It's awesome. Are you writing this down?
I, I, I do think we just finished, but yeah, let's
No.
go. Let's go
Okay.
back to the topic.
Core values,
Yes.
preferences, deal breakers. What are they in the world of dating? Why do we care?
And why are they? Is there any difference in those? Like, We use those terms.
I got to lean back so I'm not super small. Um, I don't know because for me, the core values, here's how I would do it. Core values are who I am, who you are, like that. And then have you seen the new emoji? It's not new anymore, where it's the hugging and it's like, have you seen that? Don't say no because
Oh, it
this is
looks
going
like
to be,
this.
yeah, and they're like wrapped around each other. So core values is who I
Oh,
am. The preferences is for me like a puzzle piece, like how we fit together.
okay.
But then deal breakers, I don't know if we agree or disagree. I don't even know what I think, but does the deal breaker go against your core value?
Yeah, I think so. Well, uh, that's fascinating. I think a deal breaker just, I mean, you're hitting me with this cold. So
Yes.
I, I think, well, that's what we do all the time anyway. But I, my first read is that you could have deal breakers that are core value deal breakers, and then you
I
could have
agree.
preference deal break. Okay. So we could, if we were mapping this out, we could say that you have core values, those are super important, and then you have preferences.
Yes.
And then, and then, I mean, I think core values just says like, this is, this is good or not. Like,
And this is immutable for me. And I was trying to think, honestly, I don't even know what my core values, whatever this is, July 17, 2026, I don't know what they are. But I think if I knew them, they would be firm because that is who I am. The preferences, like I might prefer to date someone who's an early riser. It's not a deal breaker if you're a night owl, if we can make the preference that you have for being a night owl fit for the two of us.
yes. And that's where I'm curious because I think core values, um, that is the immutable piece. Like you don't come off of that. I mean, I feel like if you come off of that, then you're starting off on a really bad
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah.
But then I think almost like the preferences, you take your core values and then the preferences, and you end up with a template. And then
Yes.
you have somebody else, and then you're trying to configure the template. Like it is,
Yeah. But that's, I think, why I think of the preferences as a puzzle piece and its evolution. Like in 2018, I might have said, these are my core values. A deal breaker for me is I won't date someone who's never had kids. The longer I've dated, the maybe the older Emma gets, I think, oh, that's not a deal breaker. Okay, I think this is it. That's not the deal breaker. My core value is someone who can put themselves in the place of the other, someone who realizes that they're not always first and foremost, because that's really what I was saying. So the deal breaker isn't you don't have kids, it's you have to match my core value of empathy and that kind of thing. Does that make sense? So I've redefined,
yeah,
but not having kids was never a deal breaker. I just had the wrong language.
yeah. No, I think that's so great. I think there has to be an evolution because
Yeah.
like what I find attractive now is not what I found attractive in the past.
And that's
So
preference.
like that would, yeah, that would be preference. So like my preference was for a long time, people, it was the whole butterflies and the charge and all that thing. And at some point, at
Mhm.
least for me in my life, you go, oh, that's chaos.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to chaos, and so those things aren't attractive to me anymore. Like, and it's funny because now I can recognize it. I'm not saying the universe wouldn't try to slip one past me because
Yeah.
it will do that, but I can recognize, you know, I go out and eat fairly often, and I'll often sit at a restaurant bar, and if somebody strikes up a conversation, I can almost immediately recognize whether this is that's there's chaos, and I'm not in. So, and yeah, it's just an evolution
Does
over
that
time.
become okay? So that makes me think, is it a preference or is it a, it doesn't sound like it's a deal breaker because it's not maybe part of your core values. And you might meet someone who on one given day shows up as chaotic. And then they're not chaotic all the time and it becomes okay, you can work together. So is it a deal breaker?
well, here's where I think it comes back. You know, as you were saying, your core values. I would like for me, I would say, and it, we're gonna teaser. We're gonna ask you to write down what these things are for yourself and to
Right.
really look at what they are. So I would say candor is one. You know, just be like
Yeah.
dead on straight. Just deliver it to me, whatever that is. The empathy piece um, for me is the ability to reflect and to repair.
Hmm.
So those are those are huge to me. So I think when you get into like if you take the example of the chaotic attraction, then it's looking at is are these core values covered with that person? And then that might be a little because I think yeah.
No, that's it. And then it is. I mean, it seems like in this kind of your concept that maybe we talk about this. And I love when I texted you back and you're like, you know, who I don't even know what we're saying because the more you think about it, the harder it gets. But thinking about my own, because this really was a hardcore no for me for years. And I think it was I don't want to date someone who's never had kids when mine was still living at home. And it was a preference. Maybe I'd prefer to have someone date someone who has kids so they understand when I'm like, you would like to live in Idaho? Great. She still lives in Austin. I always want a place there. So I think maybe they'll get it more quickly, but not a deal breaker. It was like a preference disguised as a deal breaker. And until I dug into it and thought, because why do I care if someone else has kids? Because they understand that she'll come first sometimes. And that's just empathy. The core value isn't you must have progeny. It was that. So it was like a preference disguised as a deal breaker the more I thought
Yeah.
about
And well, so let me ask you this then, because would it be if somebody had young children for you now, would that then
preference.
be a preference?
I know. It's only because you got me thinking about it because I would have said until this morning, sent at 1 a.m., delay send, no edits, until I saw your text.
Yeah,
I would,
no edits.
I would have said, you're going to be like, I would have said it's a deal breaker using the wrong language. But now I realize, no, truly for me, deal breaker violates my core values. It doesn't violate my core values, Bob, that you're 60 and have a 3-year old. It's just, sorry, Bob. It's just not my preference. So this has
Right.
been really helpful to me because I would have used the language of, no, that's a deal breaker, but it's not because it doesn't violate my core values.
I love that. And you know, when you talk about preferences, what came up for me is remember that old country song that was "You can eat crackers in my bed anytime." It was. Did you ever hear that? Please tell me you did. You're
No.
the one who told me about what the first step
I
is.
know. After having
It's
treated like
that
a
era
lady,
of country.
it is singing. You can eat. I maybe if I heard it
You
sung.
can eat. I don't remember the words. It was just you can eat. It was that this person was so great or
That's
whatever
it. Yeah.
that they could eat crackers in your bed.
Oh, I love that because if you had asked the songwriter probably 10 years earlier, he might have said that's a deal breaker. But it's not.
Right.
It's preference. I this we are doing a great job of clarifying all of this because even I'm more clear now. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's well too, and then there's there's the whole thing about celebrities, and you're like, I mean, I think a lot of people think that they would put up with more to be in relationship with
Yeah.
celebrities
Yeah.
or one, somebody they're particularly fond of, that
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Or
which is, I think,
money.
just a
I mean,
different.
thinking about that, like, would you date money? You're interested. But like, would that if that
Absolutely.
could easily be a deal breaker if that person has the Bentley SUV, but the way some of their beliefs or whatever it is violate your core values. But your preference
Yes.
could still be they have money as long as there are no deal breakers. This is really clarifying for me as well.
The For me, the older and the richer, the better.
So you're right.
Like, let's go
Okay.
late 90s.
Did you? you shared something before we got on, and we'll say this in jest. But when you said it, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And do you want to share? You can say no. That preference. It's a preference, though. Let's even zoom out to that, so you don't have to share. But would that be a preference or a deal breaker?
This is great because I hadn't really thought through that, and I was like, I
Okay.
don't want to pigeonhole myself. But I said I don't think that I could date somebody who drinks like Coca Cola, Dr Pepper, those type of beverages, like on a daily, you know, all day basis or whatever that
What
is.
about Bang energy drink? Champagne.
Bang is perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, and
That's
so that would
perfectly
be.
acceptable.
But would you have said before our conversation, it's a deal breaker?
Yeah, and I think I would. Well, here's the thing. I move it into probably preference, but then now
Right.
I'm curious as we're defining this because I would say one of my values is well-being.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a
And
good.
so does that fall and again, this is all subjective,
Yeah.
you know, what I consider well-being. Everybody has their own opinions and
Yeah.
thoughts and narrative on what's the right way to, you know, to be
That
well,
is
to
really
do the things.
insightful because I hadn't, when you said it, I was like, that's just a preference. Like, who cares? But it really might be a deal breaker. I had not thought of that core value, well being for you. That might not work.
Now let's take it a step. Let's show the complication because at the same time, I had a relationship with someone several years ago that didn't work out, and she was a great woman. And this is not why it didn't work out, but it was like kind of, you know, sometimes after something's ended, you kind of want to just pile on a little bit of evidence, you know, especially when you think you might have
Yeah.
thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Uh, she would not, for dietary choices, I'll leave it at that. She would not eat queso. And if I'm going to a Mexican restaurant with somebody, I don't want the big bowl of queso by myself, but I do want some queso.
Yes. Okay.
So do
Keep
you
going.
see? I said Diet Coke, and then now I've said queso.
I
Like
know. And I love Diet
queso
Coke.
in.
I'm not queso, but what if she would have said, we're not getting off track because I'm thinking, is it preference? What if she would have said, as I say all the time, like, I'm not into that, but get it. That's not good. Wouldn't have been enough.
I I think it was just that, you know, it's all like most restaurants, it's like a big bowl of it, and it's like $14, and you're like, I don't. Then you start thinking, well, am I compelled to eat all of the queso or most of the queso or like I don't know.
Deke,
It's just
I know what queso means to me, but what does queso really mean? Like, but I
well,
hear you. And it's like I always tell vegans and vegetarians, I'm going to be a deal breaker really quickly because if your core values, and I've never really actually been able to use this language truly until today, if your core value is do no harm, and that's why you're a vegan or vegetarian, I totally respect that. But I harm everything and eat all the things with faces. And if that is why you're a vegetarian, I don't think I would want to go out to dinner with me where I'm having the petite filet. It doesn't work.
well, yeah, and I wasn't going to tip my hand on this, but this person was vegan
Okay.
and not the run of the mill. Like it wasn't. It was never a big thing. It was never. There was never
Okay.
any. It was just personal choice. I don't think from any greater stand in life. It's fascinating because you said I love Diet Coke. I'd forgotten this, but and so that I mean I just want to show how complicated this
Yeah.
we make this or this can be. Or I don't want to say complicated. I want to say complex
Yes.
because there is by all objective measures you are fit. You have you care deeply about your well-being, like
Yes.
you, and that's not just in physical fitness. That's in mental health. Like
Yes.
it's an ecosystem for you to be well. So maybe there's biases or assumptions or things that I'm piling onto the Diet Coke piece because that wouldn't it,
I
it
mean, I
wouldn't
people do
phase
give
me.
me shit, but I'm just like I always say I need a thing, and so it's going to be one. It is now, like we've talked about. I patronize the billionaire with that cheap ass. I mean, they call it like sparkling caffeine, like because it's so cheap. But I have one of those every day because I love them. And I do think, though, I don't do fast food. I don't really do sugar. Like, that's my one thing. So maybe you wouldn't care as a one thing.
Right. I mean, but you are in the well-being. I think I see a lot of people that that's the thing, that maybe well-being isn't at a priority, or somewhere up there on the priority list. So yeah, that's I think that's where it illustrates the complexity. And we could take, I mean, we're talking about this one piece, but that could be anything in your preferences,
Yeah.
and and adjacent and related to this is sex and all things about
Oh,
sex. Because I'd heard it once in a completely unrelated conference I was at, that uh, this man said, "Hey, with as it comes to sex, you have a template, and it's
okay.
all your things, and it evolves over time. And everybody has a template, and the best you can hope for, a little negative sounding to me, is to find somebody whose template closely aligns with yours."
And why is that? Because I mean, I think that's it. I think that's it. Otherwise, there's just that like little friction. Why does that like feel depressing, sad, whatever?
Why did I say that was negative? Is that
Yeah.
what you're
Why does
pointing
it
to?
feel like, yeah.
Well, just because he said the best you can hope for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
uh,
agree with
you
that.
know you know
We
I'm
need
trying
to.
to manage my language as the words come out of my mouth. It's
I
sometimes a little
love
difficult.
live. I love live everything because there's no pressure for perfection. Because I have friends that won't do the lives because of that. But I'm like, no one expects. There's no cap cut. I did a job application today and it said, "Are you proficient at cap cut?" And I thought, I will be if you hire me. But I think that's what it's called. But that,
Yeah,
okay.
I think I love the lives too. I think the only thing I said a couple weeks ago, and I was so tired. I think we were both super tired. I said something about, at this point, we were talking about changing other people, but I said something about, well, we're pretty set in our ways, which is like nails on a chalkboard to me when I hear that, because I don't believe that.
No.
I believe we're patterned, or well patterned,
Yeah.
like, but I also believe that you have the opportunity to shift that at any time, if you want to, if
And
you're
I
motivated
even
to.
think I need to think about this more. I think our core values change over time. Like I know mine have since I was 20 or 30. I think it all changes. But I really love this and it's actually really helpful to me. Thank you for the coaching. The core values are who you are, who I am, and the preferences are how we fit together, and the deal breakers for me going forward, I think I'm really going to think of it as it's never a deal breaker unless it violates my core values in some way.
Yeah, and as you say this, not to make it more complex, but I'm wondering if there are layers of preferences,
Mhm.
like maybe a little closer
Yeah.
into your values in terms of breaking it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because
Okay.
I think if you find somebody you're super attracted to, and there's a few little preferences out there that are like, whatever. This person's got like, this
I
is somebody
agree.
that's a match for me.
Yeah. Because I think that's it. It's the how you fit together. Because I would have said and did many times that it was a deal breaker for me if someone didn't drink coffee, because that violated my core values. That
Oh, that
felt
is a
like
deal breaker.
like it felt bigger than a small preference because I was making all of these. You don't drink coffee, you get up, you're ready to go. You don't understand the mentality of coffee as a slow rate of entry into the day. But that really, my preference is someone drinks coffee. But that's the outer layer of the preference, where I still think the inner layer might be my example. You don't have really young kids at 57 years old. Tomorrow, buy me something from my Amazon wish list.
Yes. All
What
right.
is our
So,
homework?
Cole, I I'm going to pitch this, and feel free to edit, because we know I send unedited information in the
No,
last 24 hours on delay. I say, write down what your, like, really look and write down what your values are, uh, what your preferences are, what your deal breakers are, and the place to look around the deal breakers being in your core values or your really close in preferences. And then just examine like the preferences, and do your preferences actually fit under a bigger bucket
Yeah.
in core values?
I love this. I mean, you and I made time to do this today on a Friday, and it's what we always talk about. This has helped clarify a ton for me as well.
Yeah, likewise. And then I have some, you know, I, small plug. I think my personal opinion is I think we should all have a therapist or a coach, or a therapist and a coach.
Yeah.
And so the person who that represents one or two of those buckets for me listens to these. So I'm sure I'm actually going to have to do the homework, you know. But for that person that's listening, there's homework.
And
By way of
thanks for
you
being
agreed by listening to do homework.
This was so great. I will see you next week.
All right, perfect.
I hate stopping the live, but here we go.
Mm-mm.